Oh, hey, what's happening there, YouTube? It's Brian House here for Housemade, and today's video is going to be all about getting your Evolution grinder tuned and ready to work in your workshop. Now, if you're not familiar with this project, you can go over to my website, housemade.us, and check out the Evolution belt grinder. You can buy a kit from us and you can build it yourself, or we have pre-built machines like the one right here behind me. Now, once you have the build done, there's another video completely dedicated to the process of building this machine. You're going to want to watch this video so that you can actually tune it so that the belt runs at the right tension, you have your work rest in the right position, and you've got your tracking spot on. All right, let's get started. Okay, so this machine's all pre-built, ready to go, but it's just kind of loosely configured right now. And the first step of any grinder that you walk up to is you're going to want to align the platen itself and where it sits in reference to the two wheels here on the front. Now, this doesn't matter if you're running the 2-inch version of the machine or the 3-inch version. The process is exactly the same. For this case, we are going to be using a 2-inch version of the machine. I am going to use, just for this process, we're going to use a 3/16 Allen key for this. That's all you need to get this aligned properly, and a belt. So let's grab a 2x72 belt and throw it on the machine and see where our platen sits. Okay, so now we got a belt on the machine. I'm turning the belt by hand, and the first thing I can see already is that the platen bracket and the platen is too far forward. This is pushing into the back side of this belt, and you can hear it when I drag the belt across the platen itself here. You hear that? When you turn this thing, you shouldn't hear that scraping sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the two bolts that are in the platen bracket, and we're going to loosen them and push the platen bracket and the platen back far enough so that you have about a 1/16 of an inch or less, maybe a 32nd of an inch or less between the platen face itself and the back side of the belt. Okay, so now it's a little hard to see in the video, but you got a little bit of space between the platen face and the back side of this belt. And let me turn this by hand so you can hear the difference. No scraping, right? And believe it or not, that makes a huge difference when you're setting up your 2x72, because if you're pushing forward on this belt at all, it will affect your tracking, especially in reverse. So that's something to take into consideration. Now, the next thing we're going to look at is the alignment of the platen face to where the side of the wheel is. So right now you're seeing the belt kind of shifted over a little bit. We're going to take care of the tracking in a minute, but what we're actually doing right now is we're aligning this metal face right here with the edges, the interior edges of these two wheels. And again, you're going to grab your wrench and you're going to loosen up the two bolts that are on the back of the platen bracket that are threaded into the face, and you're going to loosen those and align them so that they're in alignment with the edge of the wheel itself. And you can do this by looking down on the platen from the top above. That makes it the easiest. Okay, so now that we've got our platen aligned with the interior portion of our wheels here, both top and bottom, let's take a second and talk about belt tension. This is kind of a personal preference thing, but it can affect your tracking. This is something that is overlooked a lot even when I make videos. I don't hardly ever talk about this just because it comes so second nature to me, but we do get a ton of questions about it. So how I tension my belt. So let's start from the loose position. With the Evolution, you can lock in your detent pin into place, and now your belt is loose. And of course, this is the variable, right? Like how far your platen arm is in or out. Now, if it's too far in, your belt's going to be too loose. If it's too far out, it's going to be too tight and it won't track properly. So how I do it is I look at the belt from a tensioning standpoint, and this again can be a little bit fiddly, right? So I'll pull it out so it's about, you know, yay tight, right? there's no measurement for this, so I don't know how I'm going to actually verbally tell you how to do it, but I pull it out so that it feels somewhat like I'm at the extent of the full belt, okay? And then I push it in about a 1/2 inch, and I lock the arm down. And you can see it's super floppy right now. That's by design, because we're going to release this detent pin now and let the tensioning arm come up. And when that happens, that is the perfect tension for this belt. As I'm bouncing my hand on this thing, it's moving about 1 inch up and down. That's how I know this belt is, at my preference, the proper tightness. If you have it too loose, where this is really super floppy, the machine will never track. So that's something to take into consideration when you're getting your machine all set up. Okay, so now we know we have our belt tension set up properly. Our platen face is aligned like we like it. We're going to talk about tracking, okay? And because this machine is different than every other belt grinder that's on the market, meaning it can run a 2-inch or a 3-inch wide belt, you're going to see a lot of space up here if you're running a 2-inch belt on this machine, and that's okay. That's by design, okay? I spent a lot of time in my career working on tracking. It was super important to me to allow our customers to be able to track forward and reverse, and to implement a simple system to make that happen. We call that the fast track system. You've got a secondary tracking knob, which is like more of a fine-tuning knob, and then you got this big knob down here, and that is more of a major change, if you want to call it that, all right, or a primary adjustment. The first thing I do whenever I set up a belt on a machine and I want it to track, I look at this surface right here. This is the top of the tracking wheel, and I want that to be parallel with the base plate or the floor, okay? Right now, I don't know if you can see this real well, but it is sloping away. It's sloping down this way in this corner. So I'm gonna bring that up, okay, just slightly, and you can see now I'm more in line with the top of this handle. So this line here and this line here are fairly parallel, and that's my first step. Now I'm going to turn on the machine, okay? I'm going to turn it on in forward, but at a very slow clip, right? And I'm just going to see how the belt tracks. Okay, you can see we've got a little bit of rubber exposed here, so I'm going to go ahead, use my secondary tracking adjustment, and turn it the way that I like a steering wheel on a car, like the way I want it to go. And you can see you have that real nice fine adjustment using that, and I am really happy with that. So I'm going to just kick it up just a little faster, just to kind of see how it travels, and it's looking good. Now I'm going to turn it way down to like a little over 10 hertz, just to get it spinning a little bit. I'm going to throw it in reverse. Now the belt's going to move that way because of the crowning on the drive wheel itself, okay? And that's totally normal in this case, that the belt's going to want to go the other direction because it's following that. Now on the drive wheel, it's following that crown. So because it's spinning in reverse, I know that I want to use the secondary tracking mechanism, but I'm going to spin it the opposite direction in which I want it to go, meaning I'm turning it into the belt now to try to get it to come back over. Here we go. A little bit more. Now we're running in reverse, and the belt is traveling perfectly across that top wheel and across the face of the platen, okay? And before I switch it into forward, I'm going to dial it back just slightly and switch it back into forward and move that belt back into position. And that's how easy it is to move this belt forward and reverse on the Evolution grinder. One more thing I want to mention is that if the belt is riding across the platen face at a little bit of a diagonal, you can loosen the screws on the back of this face, and then you can adjust that if necessary. We don't have to do that a lot, but sometimes it's not quite perfect, or maybe you're doing a funky grind where you need it to be exact all the way from the bottom to the top, in which case you can adjust that. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Evolution work rest. This work rest is unique. It will work in both the vertical and horizontal positioning, and there are multiple points of adjustment on this work rest. One of which is the first thing you're going to do, obviously, is line it up to the machine, plug it in, make sure it's aligned with the platen, you know, the belt left to right. We give you a little bit of room so that you can slide it right up, and the belt actually nests into the work rest itself in the vertical position. And then all you need is a 7/32 Allen key to loosen up this machine screw at the very top here, and then you can adjust that left to right if needed, and then lock that into place when you got it where you want it to go. That same set screw is what you're going to loosen up to turn it around when you go to move the machine into the horizontal position. It's the same exact mechanism. Also, you have this adjustable handle down here that you can loosen, and that will allow you to be able to tilt the work rest in whatever angle you would like, all the way to, you know, ad nauseum here. And you can then also slide it up and down. So it's kind of an endless amount of different configurations that you can get with this, this particular type of adjustment. Now, if your work rest isn't quite 90 degrees off of your platen, there are 2 set screws on the angle bracket under here. You loosen up this machine screw and give yourself a little bit of play, and then you can set a square up against your platen and adjust those set screws to dial in that degree in what you want, right? Most people like it at 90 degrees. You know, if it's off by a degree or two, you've got quite a bit of adjustment there. Okay, so let's turn the machine on its side and see how the work rest aligns with the platen when it's in the horizontal position. So now we've got the work rest in its horizontal position, but we need to rotate the work rest itself. So we're going to loosen up this machine screw here and loosen this knob here, turn it, and then rotate it 180 degrees. Slide it back up and in, and get it to the height where you want it. Lock this arm into place just to keep it from falling, and line it up with the face of the platen and lock that machine screw back down. Don't forget to lock down the arm of the work rest itself. And as you can see, you've got the work rest, which wraps around both the top and bottom contact wheel and the flat platen face. You can also adjust the table any angle you want by just loosening this knob down here, tilting it forward, and sliding it up to the machine. Now there's one more position that you can actually set this work rest to. This was shared with me by Dennis Terrell, smart guy. If you don't know who Dennis Terrell of Terrell Knife Works is, he has a YouTube channel. I'll link to it down below. But at Blade Show, he walked up to my machine. He says, I think you could do it like this. So he loosened this arm here and this guy, and then tightened it down like this and slid the work rest up in this position to allow for long work. Like if you're working on something that's got quite a bit of length and you need to have it supported all the way across here, you have the ability to do that with this work rest. Something I would have never thought about, but Dennis is always thinking. So go check out his YouTube channel and tell him I sent you. One of the things we hear from our customers all the time is that this is a very fun project to put together in your workshop. It teaches people how to weld and fabricate on a light level, and the machine itself is so versatile. So I really do hope you go check out my website, housemade.us, or at least get a machine or a version of this machine in your workshop. Thanks for watching, guys. I truly appreciate all the love and support throughout the years. I hope to see you in the next video. My name is Brian House, and this has been Housemade.